Hi everyone, I hope you're well. It's CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Vechain. Once again, thank you for your continued support. Okay, we're nearly at 50k subs now. That's amazing. I never thought we'd get there when we started, but obviously you're finding value in this content, and the reviews speak volumes. So thank you for being a part of the community, okay, and thank you for your involvement, the comments, the likes, shares, everything you've done to contribute towards CoinsKid here. If I could meet you in the street, I'd shake your hand, okay? Nice one. Cheers, mate. Right, so diving into Vechain right now, you can see it's really, really strong, okay? It is really strong. I've given you these breakdown targets here, okay? But for those of you not seeing the video from the other day, I just want to show you something, okay? So on the daily time frame, we are targeting a particular pullback. I'm not saying the pullback's going to come yet, but I'm saying that you've always got to be aware, okay? Always be aware, and I'll always be transparent with you, because what we've got here, okay, and this is playing out beautifully, by the way. It's absolutely playing out beautifully like a dream. If we go, on log scale, and we stretch it out like this, and then you'll see what we're doing here, okay? So you've got something called Elliott Way Theory, okay? So I'm just going to drag this down a little bit like that, tidy it up. Get rid of these levels here as well, so you can see. So right now you can see we've got the peak, okay, and we do start to seem like we're falling down a little bit, but obviously we're falling on support, which is really good because that's how strong Vechain is. You can see the RSI got overbought, okay, on the daily, and it's rolled over. Do you see that? Rolled over. So we've been targeting all that for a few days right now, but Vechain's holding support. It's doing really, really well, okay? But what I want to make you aware of, if you didn't see that video the other day, we've got something called Elliott Way Theory. So from here, we bottomed out of Corona dump. We went up, we made a peak. So that was wave 1. We've had a deep wave 2 pullback. Okay, now look at this. This is the third wave, potentially the peak. Okay, now the third wave is always the largest wave. Okay, it's a massive wave, and then you have a wave 4, which is a pullback. Okay, it's not as deep as the second wave and a pullback, but potentially it is relatively deep. Okay, so let's say Vechain was to sort of fall down to that sort of 14 cent mark right there. Okay, which would bring it down to the 55 EMA. You would have that fourth wave pullback, not necessarily as deep as the second wave, okay, before a large fifth wave, not as large as the third wave because that's the largest wave, but it's potentially the same as the first wave, just a little bit less. Okay, so for example, this particular first wave was from the bottom there to the top. That was roughly a 15x. Okay, so this particular wave here, if we did get, say, let's be conservative and say sort of 10x, so from there to there you're looking at around about 1000%. So roughly some, to measure that again, roughly, if we did get this pullback from wherever we get this pullback, because obviously you can see that Vechain's sort of correcting a bit, rolling over, potentially going to start and form this fourth wave pullback of this Elliott Way Theory. Okay, so let's say it did pull back. I'm not saying it will, but let's say it did, and this was our base of a deep wave 4 Elliott Way Theory pullback right there. If it did pull back and then we started to march on, you could be looking at roughly, we said 1000%, didn't we, for a conservative measurement. That would actually bring Vechain up to roughly that sort of area, which is the $1.50, which is what we were targeting the other day in the video for Vechain. So that would be absolutely beautiful. So I just want to reassure you that even if Vechain goes back, okay, if you start to see it collapse and fall back, it's on its way to that particular level, given the structure that it's painted. Okay, it's in a pattern called Elliott Way Theory, and Elliott Way Theory is based on human psychology, because that's what drives the markets. Okay, is human psychology, human emotions. Okay, so Elliott Way Theory stands the test of time, and that is your potential price prediction right there for Vechain, regardless of falling down, collapsing, whatever. That's your potential price target of Vechain on that extended fifth wave of Elliott Way Theory. Now, when it gets to that point, it goes through something called an ABC correction, okay? And that sort of ABC correction looks something like this, okay? So it'll go down, up, not quite as high, and then it'll fall back. And usually it falls back to at least the top of the third wave. So, for example, if you've missed Vechain up here on this fifth wave and you think, oh no, I'm too late, you will get another opportunity to buy back in on the retest of this top of the third wave, and that's basically Elliott Way Theory. And from there, okay, it will start to go on again and form the next Elliott Wave Theory, taking it to new highs. So that's basically good if it can continue in this bull run. If we could get a continuation of this bull run, which I do anticipate, that's where you could Vechain see going on to higher highs after a level of pullback and consolidation and that ABC correction before marching on in the next Elliott Way Theory. So yeah, it's all good, basically. It's all good. good. That's the price target that we have in the channel for Vechain, roughly round about that area, but we've not got a crystal ball, but it's adhering to this at the moment. And who knows, the third wave, this could be a minor pullback, okay, and the third wave could end up being up here somewhere. So what we do, whenever we start to see a correction, which we are seeing right now, we are seeing the market roll over and things correcting. So you can't ignore the fact that potentially you could see Vechain roll back even further. That's why we're always transparent with you in this channel, okay? So that's an update on Vechain. What we'll do is just get rid of this now. I will leave this particular price prediction up there in the charts, because you know what, in a few months we'll be up there and say, look, we're up there, we made it to the top of the mountain. So what we're going to do is zoom in on the 4-hourly time frame right now for Vechain, okay, and have a look, see what we can see on the 4-hourly. So you know we've got a price target in there, price prediction, which is golden, okay. So for those of you panicking and you see it rolling over and you bought at the top here, don't worry too much, okay. But that's what I do say to you about try not to buy the tops. Always buy the retest of support, because it makes you feel better, and plus it gives you better opportunities as well. You know, if you see Vechain getting overextended up there, you know, if you wait for the pullback to the EMA, look, it got the retest off the 50. Look at that. That was a 40% correction, and from there you loaded up your bags. You got 40% more Vechain, and you made 40% more cash. So always anticipate those pullbacks, because they make better entries. Okay, so right now you can see we've almost got a double top forming, and if Vechain fails to go on and break this high, you're potentially looking at sort of rolling over, back testing this level of support, okay, right here. We'll keep that in target for you. If it loses that particular level, then you would see that correction down there to that sort of 14 cents mark, and which would bring you down to the daily 55, okay. Always going to be transparent with you on this channel, and that, yeah, you could see in time, if it sort of consolidates a bit, starts to roll over even more, starts to correct, you could potentially be looking at that price prediction right there as it rolls over and comes back down and kisses the 20, or even falls through that and kisses the 55, okay. But I'm not saying it will happen, but you always got to have these targets in your mind just as a fallback, just in case it was to roll over and happen, okay. And that would be that wave 4 as well, because the wave 4 is relatively deep, but not as deep as the wave 2 there on the Elliott Way Theory. So far so good for Vechain. It's the outlook's very positive. You can see it's continually making high lows. Do you see this? It's conforming to some kind of ascending trend line. It's not falling through support, so it's extremely powerful. In fact, you could leave that there and potentially look at something like this, where Vechain sort of comes up, gets trapped, okay. If it fails to break that out of this resistance, just like we've targeted many times in the Vechain videos here, if it fails to break this sort of ascending triangle and break this resistance now at this previous all-time high, which is, I'll drop that in for you, which is just there, 0.27, okay. If it fails to break through that, then you could see it fall out of this ascending triangle, and obviously, you know, your target is something like that, okay. Wherever it falls out, you could see it, if it gets close to the apex, you could see it fall out and at least retest this level of support. And obviously if it broke that, that would be your double top, and then obviously you break down and get that come into play just there. But if you got the upside, if you did break out to the upside, and who knows, why not, that wave 3 could go on, okay. If it did break to the upside, that's your potential price target, which is at 0.36. So that's Vechain. Right now then, things to keep an eye on, okay. It is above the 20 on the 4-hourly, which is good, really good, because not a lot of projects are doing that. That just shows how strong Vechain is. So right now, just keep an eye on this. If it was to fall out of this, then do anticipate that it could come back down and test this level of support right here. Right at the moment, you are caught above, which is healthy, but if you was to see yourself come down anymore, do target this particular level here, because it's currently acting as a level of support. You can see it's a bit of a upper trending support line right now. If you did see it fall out of there, I would anticipate a nice little short down there, 15%, to at least come down to this base, okay, or at least get the bounce off this 55, okay. And always target this 55, because you can get some in and out nice little trades on the go there for Vechain. Failing that, you know, if you did see it come up now, okay, and start to hit its head, you could sort of trade in and out of these little retests of resistance and little retests of support. So that's Vechain. Everything's looking relatively healthy on it, okay. But one thing that is a little bit unhealthy is the daily time frame is a little bit overextended, okay. I'm not going to lie to you, it is a little bit overextended, and we're getting that little rollover where we're getting these EMAs coming back up. So you know, just looking at that, you could potentially sort of see a level of consolidation where it gets a little bit flat, falls out of that ascending trend line there, gets a little bit flat, a little bit sideways. If it fails to break this high, okay, then do anticipate this yellow line creeping up and at least touching base with 0.19 cents. So that's Vechain. Hope you enjoyed that video. I'll always be transparent with you. Please do smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And yeah, take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye bye.